Hello and welcome to another Dev Diary video for Imperator Rome. And today we're going to be talking about pirates, storms and volcanoes. So a little bit more flavor, I guess, to add to the games. And I think that's a good thing because that's kind of what Imperator's sort of lacking right now. So how about we just get right into it. So hello and welcome to this Dev Diary for Pompey patch. Today I'll be talking about more changes coming to the naval part of the game, and it says about the general rework of naval stuff is found in that link, and I have done a video on that. There's going to be a link in the description. As well, we'll cover storms and pirates, as well as some more historic and geographic flavor in the form of added events, as well as new on-map volcanoes. And I gotta say, volcanoes look awesome. Anyway, moving on. In Imperator Rome, pirates spawn and block ports indefinitely. This is a nuisance for the strong and very disruptive to those who are weak with no navy, as they block their ability to break free from their home ports. Apart from laws blocking the creation of pirates from your own ports entirely, or permanently placing a fleet outside your ports, there's little you can do to stop them, meaning that your options are to withstand constant penalties or turn them off completely. Neither is very engaging. Nonetheless, pirates were a natural part of maritime life in this period, and should be a natural part of the game. The aim for the Pompey patch has therefore been an implementation of pirates that offer something instead of just being harmful, have a clear way for the player to do something about them instead of just spawning surprisingly, and is less bothersome on the whole than the constantly maintained blockade just off the coast of your land. So yeah, basically the way pirates work right now is they just spawn, usually I see it as just 7 ships. The only time I've ever seen more than 7 ships is when multiple pirate navies coalesce, but generally I've only seen them be 7 ships spawning at a time. And yeah, if you're small, 7 ships can be a bit of a pain in the ass. Whereas if you're big, then 7 ships is really nothing, but they're just the micro of, oh, some more pirates over there, let me just select my navy and go and crush them and then go back to port, it's just annoying. So yeah. As well, it wouldn't be as bad if there was an automatic, your automated armies thing. If there was an automated fleet action for hunting pirates, like in that case, that would be pretty cool. Anyway, the new piracy. Nope, we're not there. We're here now. Contrary to what one might expect, pirates in this era were frequently employed as seaside mercenaries to supplement the regular navy. They were not small individual groups with a ship, but would rather often be a group of ships, sometimes a very large group, with a commander and a seaside plunder and warfare as their way of life. Usually they would be hired, just like mercenaries, to augment forces in times of war. Generally they would have many light ships, and the Antigonate navy at our start, the commanders of such forces would even be styled as arch-pirate. While not hired, they would act as brigands and raid around the countryside near and around ports. In times of peace, pirates were generally not hired, as the interest countries had in them was part of their navies. Their raids during such times would often be seen as quite bothersome by local states, who would sometimes embark on entire campaigns with troops as well as ships to pacify them. This was famously the case for Pompey the Great, the namesake of this patch, but there are many other examples, such as the recently deceased Eumelos, king of the Bosporan kingdom. So yes, they are now acting like mercenaries, so that's, I think that's an improvement. If you need just a couple more ships, just hire out the ships and then you've got more ships. That's pretty cool. What this means for us is that pirates will be present around the map at start, much like mercenaries are. They can also be hired with a commander and all by any country within range to supplement the navy. This may be useful both for when you need to quickly supplement your navy, as ships take some time to build, or if you're currently playing a country that hasn't really invested in one yet. Pirates will only ever use light ships. I can imagine this be useful for Egypt, because they start with quite a large treasury. And if they need to quickly, fight the Phrygian navy, just hire out so many pirates, and then, you've got that problem sorted. The AI really needs to be better at building ships, though, and maintaining a fleet. Otherwise, it's basically you beat them once, and good job, you now are dominant, and you're never going to be beaten at sea again. Unlike mercenaries, however, the locations where pirates call home are predetermined. They will exist in pirate heavens all around the map. These havens provide a small benefit to the owner of the port, but they're also a permanent home for a group of pirates as long as they are not at sea. If pirates go unemployed for long enough, currently 2 years, they will set out on a raid, leaving their port and turning hostile to other fleets. They will head for a port that is not protected by a fort in another region than their home and raid it, leaving destruction in their path before returning home and being open to new offers. If a pirate fleet is destroyed, it will be recreated at 0 strength in its home port, where it will regain strength over time. We have some laws and such here. Not everyone likes pirates. In times of war, a unit in a pirate haven will be able to cleanse the city of its haven and remove the pirates permanently. Every country will also have access to a new law to outlaw piracy, which will give them a CB on all countries that harbour pirates. Likewise, every country will have access to a law to condone piracy, which will create a new pirate haven in one of your ports. I find this one quite interesting. Giving them a new CB on countries that harbour pirates, I feel like that can be quite powerful. I suppose this will be coming before mana is removed from the game, so if you don't want to spend 180 scrolls on, a CB on one country, what you could do instead is outlaw piracy, and then you've got a CB on everybody who has pirates, which I assume is going to be more than one. If you can take land in this kind of war, that could be a very viable opener for your campaign. So the non-interference edict gives you 20% national commerce income. That's really strong. That is very, very strong. I like that. I might actually use that one. And then a pirate haven will be placed in one of the ports. And can we see what the pirates do in the ports? Has that been shown yet? No, it has not. Well, fair enough. Alright, well, moving on. To accommodate these changes, the Mercenary View has been split into 2 tabs. So we've got the Army tab and the Naval tab. And something it doesn't say here, but I really, really want to point out, is recruitable, employed, hostile. Oh god, yes! This is awesome. This is such a necessary change. Having these 3 toggleables on is just so useful. I love this change. Because before you would have to scroll down the list to find some mercenaries that you want, or even more than that, if you wanted to buy off mercenaries that your opponent has employed, that would be scrolling down the list until you find the flags of your enemies, which is a pain in the ass. If you could now just click hostile. Oh, so good. So good. I like that. So, yes. 2 tabs. One for land units and one for pirate groups. Pirates, much like mercenaries, can also be hired by clicking on their unit on the map. The aim of these changes are to make pirates into something you can deal with in more than one way. You can encourage them and strengthen your local economy and have access to ships in time of need, or you can actively go after them and eradicate them from the seas completely. Very nice. Alright, so sea storms. Apart from pirates, another certainty at sea is the recurring harsh weather. Storms have ravaged the Mediterranean, the Baltic, the Indian Ocean, and the Atlantic longer than anyone has dared to sail them. With the Pompey patch, recurring storms can strike at sea, exactly during which part of the year varies depending on the sea in question, but they're generally more common in the open seas than near land. Will impose harsh attrition penalties on the affected sea zones for 2 months before ebbing away. Storms will be clearly visible as animated rain, wind, clouds, and lightning, and will cover the affected areas during the period. So it's gonna look pretty interesting. I like it. It also looks like it covers a bit of the land as well. Does it say it's going to be on the land? Well, it only says about the sea zones, but it does look like the storms are coming onto land, which I really like. It's good that they don't just, fill in blockly the sea tile. It actually looks natural. I like it. That's an example of a storm haunting northern Greece. Now we have desert storms as well, so the harsh effects of weather is not really unique to the sea. In the Pompey Patch, desert areas will also run risk of storms, manifesting themselves in great sandstorms visible in the desert cities themselves, potentially turning an already inhospitable route into a much more taxing affair. Yeah, that's gonna make Northern Africa just hellish. You want to walk from Egypt to Carthage? Don't. Would be my advice. Get a boat. Just get a boat. Winter storms. In parts of the map where snowfall exists, the winter may now also bring snowstorms, sometimes quite great in size, causing attrition to all units in an area. As with the other two storms, winter storms will be shown clearly on the map and will remain in place for 2 months. And that looks awesome. That really does look really, really nice. And that is Denmark, it looks like. But yeah, I think that looks beautiful. Especially you can barely see the troops as well. Like, that's interesting. You know what would be awesome as well is if you couldn't see into the snowstorms. So say you were at war with this country and you stationed an army in Avionia Minores right here. It'd be nice if there was a snowstorm in Aviona, is that Majoris or something? If they had an army here, so this 5.2k stack, if you couldn't see it because it was hidden by the storm, that would be really cool. That would be very, very cool. One thing I will point out is the changes to forts in the new patch as well. So the fort, there's a fort here and a snowstorm. So because there is a fort here, this army is protected from the weather. That is the same in deserts. That is the same in normal and severe winters, and I assume it's the same in snowstorms as well. So that's why this guy is not currently taking attrition, even though he is in a snowstorm. And now Volcanoes, which you saw the animation at the top there. Oh no, we didn't. We saw the animation here. Look at it. Let's just have a look at it. Explode. Awesome. That's really cool. That's really cool. Volcanoes hold a very significant place in Roman history, as the eruption of Vesuvius has both given us a detailed snapshot of what a Roman city looked like just 100 years after our game ends, and the name for the Plinian eruption themselves after the man who left a description of it to the world. In the region covered by our game, a large number of volcanoes were active at the time. Many of them remain active to this day. Just outside the area we cover volcanic eruptions greatly influenced the course of the history, with Mount Etna even stopping a Carthaginian invasion 100 years prior. In the Pompey Patch, we'll build on and expand the existing volcanic eruption events, which could occur and ravage the area around the volcano until a nearby power spent the resources to put the area back to use, after which it will benefit from the addition of volcanic soils. We've now added a large number of new volcanoes, all visible on the map and searchable in the Province Finder. When an eruption occurs, you will be prompted by an event, and the volcano in question will visibly spew forth fire and lava over the land around it. In a normal playthrough, there'll be 1 to 2 eruptions. Yeah. I love that. This is awesome. Alright, flavor events. So, what's this flavor event? The Mamertines, a group of Latin mercenaries that were stalwart supporters of Agathocles, that is the Sicilian guy, have left our city and captured the city of Messana, brutally putting an end to a large part of the population. They have succeeded them as rulers of the strait between Sicily and the rest of Magna Graecia. As a form of compensation, the Mamertines have offered a measly sum of gold every now and then as tribute. So, wow, okay. Mercenaries going rogue and creating countries. Interesting. No, that's in the current game, isn't it? That's something that happens in the current game. I just never saw it. I'm fairly sure that's one of the things that could happen to mercenaries that go disloyal. I've just never seen it. But anyway, yeah, events and stuff. As is often the case in our patches, Pompey will come with a number of new events. In this case, the focus has been on additional flavor events for Rome, Carthage, and various states, if Italy, as well as in Italy, as well as on events focusing on the relationship between the state and slavery. Lastly, a number of new events have been added to expand on the relationship between the first and second consul, or in monarchies, the ruler and their consort. So we have a desperate leader here. Vibius Salvius has been seeking the office... Oh, yeah, let's make that big. Seeking the office of consul for quite some time. Having failed to be elected once again, it seems almost dangerously frustrated. In response to his defeat, Vibius has launched a vast, desperate political campaign in the hopes he can make himself popular enough to ensure a victory next time around. Rumours say he's even started threatening other senators to back him. It doesn't sound like something that's going to make you all that popular, to be honest, buddy. But you know what? You do you. That was all of the changes that are coming to you very soon with the Pompey patch. And yes, that is coming in... What's that? Just over 2 weeks' time, 26th of June, if I remember correctly. So, there's been a couple of messages by Trintragula as well after the fact, so we'll go through those as well. Not to seem negative, but all I see here is more ways to negatively affect the gameplay experience by adding random atmospheric events, increasing the already harsh attrition in Imperator Rome, and making pirates another annoying immortal force when barbarians already exist as a constant ticking time bomb that cannot be eradicated. So, Trin's response is, if you want to be free of the pirates, all you need to do is send a force to go and root out their homes. If you don't, all they do now is that every 2 years at most, they will leave a bad modifier on one of your ports. As opposed to previously, pirates stuck around outside your ports forever and came from nowhere. It'd be nice if there was a little bit more than a bad modifier on one of your ports. I would like to see pirates actually, take pops. Take them as slaves, and maybe the owner of the port would gain that pop as a slave. Like, that could be pretty cool. Just, a bad modifier doesn't seem to be enough for me. Even if it is painful, I would like to see a bit more than that. As for storms, they will at most affect you for 2 attrition ticks, and since forts now block minimum attrition modifiers at a friendly fort, it will protect you completely from them. The impact is not negligible, but is also not the end of the world. The world will not be constantly plagued by storms or eruptions. Right, well, I agree with this. Like, I don't really... Even if there is negative stuff, even if there is negatively affecting gameplay stuff, if it fits, if it's flavorful, I'm completely fine with it. I don't think, oh, you added something that negatively affects my nation, therefore bad. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. That would be the same case as if, slave uprisings, they negatively affect my gameplay experience because I have to go and take them out. Is anyone arguing that slave revolts shouldn't be a thing, or unrest shouldn't be a thing? I don't think so. What if your ships are docked at the same port as the pirates, and your war enemy hires them? Will there be a battle? Like a mercenary force, a hired pirate fleet will start out exiled and needs to be brought home before they can be used. It's not very realistic, but at the same time, meh. There's got to be some balance. Although you can sort of consider it like, if there is a pirate force in one of your ports, and he gets hired, maybe he just doesn't tell you that he got hired, and he's going to one of his new his employer's ports to say, hey, I'm ready for duty and now let's go. So I guess it can make sense a bit. Will volcanic eruptions 1 to 2 eruptions for a playthrough, or 1 to 2 eruptions per volcano, and it's per playthrough? If someone would apply the non-interference edict, then change the law, would the pirate haven disappear? Taking anti-piracy laws not only gives you a CB against all bordering countries you're harboring, it also lets your own armies root out the pirates with havens in your country. So it doesn't get rid of the pirate haven, but you then get to, use your troops to get rid of it yourself. Can't raid their own home region, so therefore not their own port. I'm not seeing anything that will prevent other pirates from raiding it. So yes, that's correct. Harboring one pirate band does not make you immune to other groups. The region restriction is also less of a protection if you grow big, since you will have cities in many regions. Such an empire likely has more to gain from getting rid of them, though being able to hire them in times of need is always nice. For a small country, though it may not be a bad idea, there's even pirate national heritage for those countries that start with a pirate haven in their capital, which is pretty cool. Right, well, that is it for another dev diary. I guess while we just close, let's put the volcano back on, because it's pretty. Yeah, look at that. Explosions. So, what do I think about the dev diary? I think it's pretty good. I would like to see a little bit more pain with pirates. I think they could be more painful, so it's not something that I can just ignore. Like a modifier on one of my cities is not really the end of the world, and I want it to be something that is actually, oh, I need to deal with this now. This is a problem. Even if that problem is easy to deal with, having to deal with the problem gives you something to do. So that would be nice. But yeah, other than that, it's good. More flavor, even though he spelled flavor wrong. More flavor, more events, more stuff. Just more stuff. Like the storms, I like. Pirates, I like to change. They're much better than the previous pirates. Yeah, it's just a good dev diary. But I am interested in what you guys think. So please do leave a comment with your thoughts below. And a like if you are so inclined. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye for now.